It's time for Who Watch, Time and Relative Blackness in Space.
Black girls have the box.
Hi everyone, it's Bayana, Connie, and Robin coming to you live from the Time Vortex.
We're continuing our Blue Ballot Box series where we discuss one episode from each season of New Who based on our nominations and your votes. Today we're discussing episode 5 of Doctor Who Season 7, The Angels Take Manhattan. In this episode, the Doctor is a jerk husband, Amy writes a book, and Rory sacrifices himself again.
Yowza!
Why?
Yikes.
Bayana didn't want to say it, but Yowza had to be said.
Why would I?
It didn't need to be said. I also want to say, I understand that Connie's whole platform with Robin's never seen this before, but, why do y'all hate me?
Well, because you have to have seen it.
Yeah.
No,
You had to see it.
I really didn't. Because the Pawns are legitimately Okay, we'll go.
We'll get there, but first, we have an important thing to discuss.
Right.
Briefly, because, and now it feels like it's been 1,000 years ago because we had an entire other thing that happened between it. But Connie got to interview Christopher Eccleston at New York Comic Con.
I did.
Nice!
It's a big deal, and it's awesome.
I did. It does feel like it was 1,000,000 years ago, because that was the first day of New York Comic Con, and then since there were 3 more days, and then we were at LeakyCon, and we're clearly all still recovering. I don't know if you all can hear it in how tired we sound, but it does feel like 1,000,000 years ago. But 9 was great. 9 was fantastic, as they say. He said many planets have north, kind of by accident, and he's really nice, and I'm forgetting how to tell this story, even though every time I see someone who knows me from the internet, they're like, oh my goodness, how did it go? But yeah, he was great. He's very open and honest about his life and experiences in Doctor Who, and people were asking him real honest questions, and he was just like, yeah, this is what I think, this is my opinion. He seems to be having a good time, coming into the fandom, so that's really nice to see. He's only done 5 conventions, ever, and New York Comic Con was the biggest one that he's done. So those of you going to Gallifrey one, I know he'll be there, so that should be exciting, because it'll be a few more months into his re-entry into the Whoniverse. So it should be good.
Yikes! Is that what we call it?
I don't know. I sometimes do.
It makes sense, but it sounds yikes.
I sometimes do, and I've mostly seen it typed. I rarely say it out loud, but I think I do occasionally say it out loud because it's Whoniverse.
Yeah.
Whoniverse. So yeah, he's pretty great, actually. My favorite part was that he loves Black American music. I think very specifically from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
He listens to Stax Records, and I was like, 9! That's me. Me and 9.
I think you have lots in common. Except for the soccer.
It's so funny when he
denigrated Arsenal for no reason, and then insulted me by calling me a Coldplay fan at the same time. I was like, yo, 1-2 punch. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch.
Cold mort.
I was I care about neither of those things, but I was watching it and I was like, ooh.
The entire audience was just
Robin is
whoa.
seething.
Right. I was thinking about Robin and Cass, another person in our community. It was just oh no.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I put the video up on YouTube, so it's available to watch in its entirety, and, it was pretty great. Hopefully I get to do something like that again. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. But Connie and Bayana and Robin on more panels, please.
Oh,
on the main stage,
perhaps
interviewing
not.
people.
after this weekend.
Well, give us a break.
Give me some time. Cool. So do we want to just dive headfirst into Robin's rant before we actually talk about what happened in this, or?
I mean, I don't even really know that this is a rant so much as it's like the pawns are legitimately like my favorite companions. I always like go back and forth between the pawns and Donna Noble, which is like, wow, me and Gingers, it tracks.
It does.
But like, yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I think we might have said this before in one of the companion series, but like the last the farewells of the companions aren't always that great. And they've gotten like worse and worse and worse under Moffat.
Wow, yeah, like,
so
literally, like exponentially worse.
Exponentially worse. So, and because of the weirdness of that season, it just made sense to me just to like, I was over it. I was just like, nah, I don't need to. And then I was just aggressively not interested. And I felt like the whole time watching it, it wasn't even like, oh, this is so bad that I should have watched it. Or, oh, I've learned, like, it's not great, but I learned some things, or it made me feel some things about, like, the pawns. It was just aggressively meh.
Yeah.
And bad in a way that had nothing to do with the pawns. That just had all to do with plot and writing and building and world building. And Moffat, so it's just like, I don't need to remember them this way.
I think too, though, that it like kind of like watching it after Let's Kill Hitler made it worse. Honestly,
probably
because I think that like if we had, is there a buffer if it's all Moffat? But like I think they were both written by him, right? I think they were both written by him, and there are like good episodes in between. And so I think it's one of those things where like a lot of the issues that this episode had are like the same issues as Let's Kill Hitler, whereas like ones in between maybe have other issues or are fine. So I think that was the other thing for me watching it was I was like, oh, this is like we were just talking about, and so it was like way more stark I think than the other. Like I think I've watched it like twice, like 2 other times since. So.
Yeah, and I also think like, and I had this thought. Maybe because we're also coming off of LeakyCon, and I wrote it down in my like notes of it, is that like Moffat and Rory is kind of like J.K. Rowling with the Potters. Like, the amount of like,
got to keep going back to stuff.
Yeah, but then it's also like you can't at the 5th time. I'm not going to feel the same way I felt the first time. The second time, the same episode. It's gonna hit the same.
I mean, and it's also like, and we can like get into, I don't know what our order is, but like it definitely felt like the entire episode felt contrived, and like things only couldn't happen a different way because they said it couldn't,
even though it could.
So it was less of like but like it was less because of like actual things and more because they were just like, nope, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
You know what
I
mean? Like, and not to say that Doctor Who doesn't like, Doctor Who is notorious for not having like actual rules to their like time travel or whatever, but there are other episodes and other like storylines where they make it make sense within the episode, whereas this one it was very much just like we can't do it, so we're not. You know what I mean? It was like
and it was so lazy every time. It's written down, so it's fixed. It's weird.
And it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. Yeah. Like, and even the like, oh, we can't go back, but okay, you can't go back to that one particular year, but what about all the ones after,
Yeah.
It just literally all the other years. Like, it just felt like, I don't know, it felt like he was trying to like make us feel something too much to the point where it was just like, why?
Right, and I think that the like companion farewells that were done under RTD were, I mean, besides the like, this is the time I died, but like there's like literally she gets stuck in a parallel universe and you can't go back. Like, or
and like if she hadn't been so melodramatic, if she hadn't been so melodramatic, it would it hits hard. Like,
Martha
she is big,
chooses to leave, and so it's also about like honoring her autonomy and her, like, you know what I mean, like her being done, So it's final, and it's also like she gets to go out on her own terms, and she gets to like have that emotional like beat, without it being, you know, melodramatic, I guess. And then Donna was rude as hell, but it was like interesting
and
how they did it.
More emotional.
And
it was emotionally manipulative, but it was still like
in the rules that they made in the episode, like by saying it made sense.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
And also, like, it was,
we said it, so that's how it is. Don't ask questions.
Yeah, and it was unexpected too. Like, it wasn't like she's been carrying his, like, you know, Time Lord energy in her the whole episode, and it's like, oh, you might not, and that wasn't the plot of it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that, like, you know, all emotions in media are like manipulative. Like, that's absolutely the point,
right?
But I think that
some of them are
trying to make you feel something.
Yeah,
you said say it. I'm sorry.
I said they earn some of them. Like the manipulations that hit are earned. You earn that, you know, emotion.
Right, and it's hard in this case because the episode directly before it, they had their out, and they had they had the moment that would have been like it's the emotional moment. They're like making decisions, they want to live their regular lives, and instead Moffat undoes that entire thing just so that we could have this more like dramatic and tragic thing that didn't really have to be that way. On top of the fact that they're not going back in time to die, so then it even made it less so, because it was like you could just go back to 1939 or 1940 and go get them,
right? Or like go to
whatever the time they got brought back to,
and land in New Jersey, or not like they can travel,
right? And then like,
wait, right? He made them go back and relive like the Depression, or not the Depression, but like Robert. Really?
Yeah, it's like
they're two white people. Why couldn't you send them back to the 50s and let them just live?
Well, I mean, it is the Angels, and it also isn't clear. Yeah, it is the Angels,
when
so
they
there's
got
that.
Back,
but it's like
they clearly lived to a ripe old age.
Yeah,
or just they could have just left on their own. Like, it doesn't have to be all that. Like, it was too much.
I would have loved for the Pawns to get actually pregnant. And then be like, we got a baby. We can't be traveling. Like,
we can't be out,
you know what I mean? Like, we lost our chance with River, so we're gonna, like, you know,
and then River
do this one all the way through. Yeah, River come visit her little brother who's literally 100-something years younger.
Wow, and I thought I had a big age difference in my family.
Man,
me and Bayana are like, wow.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so I guess with the episode proper, Robin's thoughts in our agenda are that it was initially very boring.
Oh my god, that entire first step, the detective dude,
right?
It was stupid.
Tired to do what? And I was bored, literally, from the moment the scene opened.
Which is funny because I absolutely agree, but my initial thought was like, this is creepy for no reason, and I think they play hand in hand in that, like, it's like creepy, but like not like I'm scared creepy, just like, oh, this shot is of angels in the shadows, and this shot is of angels in the shadows. Like, it's the same,
right?
You know, like it's the same, like it's very monotone in its creepiness, because it's like, okay, we've done this before many times, like we know how the angels work, and so it's, I don't know, it was just very, I both agree that it is creepy, I mean that it's boring, but also it was like, we get it. Creepy.
And I ain't even get creepy, because I was I'm bored.
They like put a Statue of Liberty in the elevator, and I was just like, oh, I didn't even notice that before.
Yeah,
it was like
such I did notice that
such a small detail, but like, as Robin said, it was just like, all right, can we get to where we're going? Like, where are the ponds? Like, I just want to know where the ponds are.
It was slow.
Yeah.
It was definitely
It was so slow, and then it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
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 I mean, like,
because the bad guy doesn't even really matter.
Not at all, yeah. He, like, drop him, like, halfway through, and then I guess the angels get him. I mean, literally never find out what happens, especially if the building... Well, I guess he wasn't in that building.
Seemed like the angels probably killed him just because, like, he was torturing one of them.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't one of those, you get to go back and live your life. That was, you gotta die.
Yeah.
That was on site.
And then and then like before the end of the cold open, it was sort of, I had misremembered when they revealed the Statue of Liberty, and so I thought it was later, where it was just like, oh, that was the big thing that that the guy had seen earlier. No, it was literally just the end, like the shocker of the cold open, and I was like, but where's the subtlety, sir? Like, Moffat, come on, you could have showed him looking at this
first
thing.
of all, also in the next week or whatever, didn't the statue like move? Did we see it move?
Remember.
It was just on top of that building, like with the crown.
Yeah, it was.
They didn't run
I
out,
think
they
so.
ran
Like,
out
it's
of money.
funny because I remember when I watched it the first time, I was like, oh shit, it's the Statue of Liberty. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, without thinking about like
the logistics of that.
Yeah. Like, without thinking about that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what
Statue
they were
of Liberty is
relying on,
always
for
being
folks to
looked
not.
at. It's too large.
Yeah. But okay, but Robin, like, I think that is indicative of the entire episode, where they're like relying on folks not to think too hard. Right. Because they even say like Manhattan, the city that never sleeps. That's why it's the perfect place for the angels. And it's like, no, that literally is the opposite of what it would be. But it's like they're just relying on you to hear what they say and what you see, and just be like, okay, cool, I accept it, and not have anyone actually think about how none of it actually makes any sense.
It don't make no sense.
So when I was watching the first time, I was binging it, and I was like, I'm watching these episodes for the first time, and I didn't really think about it. But since then, I'm like,
was watching it live. I have no idea what I thought about it. I actually should have went to check. Considering it was like pretty good Twitter era, but I was also probably watching it on Tumblr illegally. Before the it was either before or like right when the BBC was like, oh right, Americans would like to watch this at the same time on the same day. That might be an idea. Like, this is a huge episode. Yeah, because I think
geo-blocking is stupid.
You know?
But yeah, no, I definitely wasn't really thinking. I mean, it was never one of my favorite episodes. It was definitely like, all right, whatever. Mostly because I feel like they should have ended with Power of Three. So like, regardless of what the episode was, it just felt unnecessary either way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that like my other issue with this episode is like a Moffat thing in general. He's like shoving a bunch of stuff in it, and therefore like it's too. I'm not keeping up with what you're trying to like all these like moving pieces, and then like I don't care, like because it's Rory and River, and then husband. Like there was a lot of like my husband. This is marriage. God. Like on like both sides.
So
and much. I'm like,
it was awful.
Y'all.
The dialogue in general was really
Do I care? No, really don't.
The dialogue was so bad.
That fight between River and the doctor when he fixes her wrist. What was even? It reminded me of a Real Housewives episode. What is the argument about? Okay, but wait.
And River's being
I understand they're mad at each other, but what are they fighting about?
Yeah, and River being petulant for no reason.
You embarrass me.
Dumb.
Like
why?
He's not even wearing a fez this time. I don't understand. Right. Like that's, I don't know.
Yeah, it was all dumb. Like, honestly, like, it's one of those, and I think, again, because we've watched Let's Kill Hitler to, like, this one, I'm, like, over River, and I've loved River. I love River. But I'm just like, girl, please.
Yeah, this is, like, the biggest problem.
But not even River. It's also, like, the way that the doctor, like, it's their whole relationship.
And it's funny because I just watched The Time Traveler's Wife literally last night for the first time, and I was just like, wow, this whole thing is just... Like, I already knew. No. It's a book. It's a book by some woman whose last name is... No, I know. He's working on he's doing it, though. That's probably where you got that from. He is doing a version of The Time Traveler's Wife, even though he did it twice, probably more times on Doctor Who already. And then The Time Traveler's Wife itself is, like, problematic for all the reasons why this, like, Moffat's version of it is problematic. It's just, like... too much happening at once, and I was just like, I just want to go read fanfic. Where are all the good River 11 fanfic that can cleanse my spirit of this? Because people have obviously written it way better than Moffat did, and made like all the bad things make sense or like address them properly. Also, like, the thing that annoyed me, the New Yorker here, and I was just like, this is not, I don't know. Like, this would be a problem anywhere, and, like, I'm sure there are other places and, like, other properties that have, like, rampantly did the city wrong, but they were talking in Central Park and then having the same conversation in Times Square, and then somehow got to the Lower East Side to get to near the Brooklyn Bridge, and they were having the same conversation. And I know they're time travelers, but like that's just not how that works.
They were operating.
It must have
obviously.
been. It was the only way. The only way is that they had vortex manipulators, even though the Doctor doesn't like them, and was just zipping around the city, because walking from Central Park to the Brooklyn Bridge is like 18 conversations. Like, I don't even know how many. It's not the same conversation. Like, I was just like, how? Why? Like, the continuity person not be like, so I feel like this is too many jumps. No?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Also, like,
the continuity person lives in Worcester, in Leicester Square. Continuity person
got fired.
Was like,
it's like, we don't need you. We're fine.
They Google mapped it and was like, oh no, you could do that. That makes sense. Because Google Map without traffic is like,
even in a car, it's impossible. And I was like, but why? And like, I was like, did they actually come here? Because like they've shot in America before. So I was just like,
they shot it here.
And I'm just like, but y'all had to take the cameras from one place to the other to get the shots.
Yep. To shoot that one scene where they were having that.
The one scene.
Of a conversation.
And I was like, no.
I think it's adorable that you think that Moffat would have realized it didn't make any sense and then changed it. Like, corrected himself. He's like, oh, well, I'm brilliant, they'll deal.
They won't care.
They won't care.
No one will. Taking Manhattan. They won't care.
No one will notice.
And then, as we've, like, kind of said before, like, New York itself, like, oh, you can't land there. So, like, so they landed there in 2012, clearly. So, I guess maybe because old Amy and Rory have died, maybe that's why they can land there. But, like, that doesn't explain any other episode before and after this episode.
Right.
They've gone to New York.
It also doesn't explain how they got there. Because I was watching it, and I still don't understand how they got there. Like, they went. So it's like not really clear, because they went to China to send a message to River, and I guess she sent them coordinates. But even if she sent them coordinates, that just because you know where you're going don't mean you can get there. Because didn't they try that earlier?
I was like, did she like send a tether? Like, you'd have to, the point is you have to come up with the reason, because they don't actually tell you the reason that how it works. Also, China, Ming Dynasty, or Qin Dynasty is the only time we see Asian people almost ever.
Okay, and that is a problem, but it's more heightened by the fact that, do you know how large China is?
Right.
And they just stroll into a random place, and then that guy gets that base.
Get that particular
base. Because they don't have a tether or light post or whatever you called it to China. They just go to the Qin Dynasty in China.
And that's it.
Somehow
and that's it.
Gets that same, or that guy gets that same.
It's the exact thing.
Bull.
Yeah.
This is just
a problem.
A whole lot. So I will say, just like a brief pause in the BS. I don't.
Is it though?
The actual it sort of. The Angel's plot and lore is the best part of this episode. It doesn't always make sense, but
he did go back to the original.
He went back to the original. He made there's this time loop farm that they keep these people in, this hotel or whatever, and that's creepy.
And it would have worked better if it were not in New York. It would have been fine if it were not a New York-based city that never sleeps situation where all the statues are just running around Manhattan.
If they were in Wyoming.
Wyoming would be great.
Or if they were moving them in space, literally they transport these people across the street. So not in the hotel. So I was always trying to figure out what compelled these people to go into the hotel when
Rory
they could just
goes to the hotel and looks at it and it knows the angels are afoot. And you're just like, oh, let me not look around for creepy statues because there's one right outside. One right outside.
Yeah, no.
And
even the other dude, though, it's like, well, the other dude, the other dude definitely went because he was sent there, so that's different. Mm-hmm. But Rory, I'm like, you could really be like, oh, snap, I got transported by these angels. Let me go somewhere else. Let me go the opposite direction. Why am I going into a creepy building?
Or at least, like, look around, because the angel was baring her teeth right there.
So that part was, like, dumb. But in terms of the angels and, like, their general lore, I felt like it was cool. And I mean, I generally like angel episodes, but I at least like, so I feel like at least I liked the angels in this episode, even if I didn't, like, care for the full thing.
I usually watch an angels and a river, and this was both, and I was like, sure. So I always watch it, but it is, the problems are stark in comparison. When you watch it closely, especially because I'm still, I guess the original angels were like a weak breed or something, so it's just like that's why they move as slow as they do, because they should move a little. To me, I was like, they should move faster, but
right, because if they don't move faster, then you're always going to be able to, like, see them,
right?
Or stop them.
Oh,
right.
Also, the one thing that was super dumb is that baby angel blowing out the candle. Or the match.
Wait, what?
That shit was dumb.
Oh, I missed that, but yes.
So how he's looking at it. It can't move. It is stone. Why is the stone
quantum lock
have oxygen? Like, what? Quantum lock, but it could just do a little, whew, like, just blowing in somebody's ear. What the hell? That was dumb.
That makes complete sense.
But I also didn't mind, like, the angel babies as, like, a general concept.
Sure.
I did. How does that work? Is there, like,
no.
baby taking time?
No.
And then you give birth to them?
No, ma'am, no.
And then they say at one point the angels are taking over every statue, so it's like the essence of angel.
No, this is like the Dementors. We can't.
Gets imbibed into. Oh no, because honestly, listen. So the Statue of Liberty is a statue, right? And it was a statue before the angels, and then the angels,
right? It's
nest
implied that
and
they're
colonize New York, and then it becomes, and then the Statue of Liberty becomes an alien angel, but it was previously a statue, and then it transforms itself into an angel. So is the Statue of Liberty an angel baby? Or are they only just little cherub babies?
Well, the cherubs were originally statues, and then they became infected by the angels.
I was just...
And so when the angels infect a cherub, do they become just babies forever? Or are those statue cherubs going to grow and mature into angels?
You know how when we talk about River's timeline, it gives you a headache? That's how I'm getting right now. I'm just like, wait.
I'm just
saying, I just like that there were different kinds of angels. That's all I was saying.
No, because how does it work? When he said that they had taken over every statue in the city, I was like, wait, how does that work?
Right.
Because I thought that they were aliens, and that's what they look like.
Right.
And they're quantum locked, and that's why they have stone. Like, they just look like that. But now they're saying...
he did that thing at the end of Blink where he was like...
energy, something.
Well, he had hinted at it in Blink, where he was like, it could be any of these, at the very end or whatever. So he might be like playing off of that.
Okay.
Not to say that like that's an answer, but precedent for it, sort of.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna be forever upset about the Statue of Liberty because
it can always be seen.
Always watched.
It's literally always being watched, but also I don't know exactly where the Winter Key is or whatever it's called. But I don't know how do they walk? Is it apparating? Is it like how does it travel between the buildings to get
and nobody
to that
notices.
building.
Oh, there's this gigantic statue. The statue. Just walking down the street.
The most famous statue.
Statue
in the city.
Liberty.
And then no one notices that it's gone from from Liberty Island.
Nope. Not at all.
Okay. Let's
Why would you?
But it's a giant angel.
Paying attention to the Statue of Liberty.
Not a single person.
Like, I don't even know where that is.
It's not a tourist attraction at all. It's not like you have to pay like $18 per person to get in.
No.
Or like flat
It
planes.
would be like going to San Francisco and moving Alcatraz. Like, duh.
Right.
Who's gonna notice that? No one.
Yeah.
No one's noticing that.
No big deal. It's fine. And I was like, planes, and I was like, 1938. I was like, yeah, planes.
Yeah.
Like, when were planes
Planes.
Like, it's fine. It actually, now that this is the reason this is coming to my mind is for other reasons, but this is like a Carmen Sandiego plot, where it's just like, we've stolen the Statue of Liberty. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
It's Carmen Sandiego, exactly.
And I was just like, it was just an angel this whole time.
Yikes.
What else do we need to talk about? Amy and Rory should have just been left last episode. Also, I think it would have been fine if they had just died and like off the edge of the building, but to have them come back and then like fake that it's fine, and then they're like,
also, why did Rory? But they're like, okay, time to go. Why did Rory?
And then he stopped.
Like he saw. The thing is, that
it wasn't in front of him. He went backward.
Saw himself. It was behind him. They were like, let's go. He turns around and goes the opposite direction. He's not turning around because he saw his name on the gravestone. He just turns around and then he's like looking. It's like he's looking for it. That was stupid. And then he's like, oh, look. And I'm like, but there's no reason for you to go back. Nobody said, oh, hey, can you grab my jacket? I dropped it back there. There's literally no
If
reason.
he would have even went to the top, like it was in his peripheral vision, like, but he went forward and over, I would have been like, all right, cool.
Right. I think they were trying to imply that it was his peripheral vision, and he like thought about it. He was just like, hold up, and then went back.
No,
but it doesn't track right.
No. The placing of where they were in that scene doesn't like it was all like even like I think someone put a good thing Amy's glasses, but like even that was contrived because Amy had been wearing glasses for hella long, so now she wears glasses in their last episode, and now the doctor's just gonna be wearing those as like a homage to her, even though he just found out she even wears those to read. Like, it's all dumb. It's all just added stuff just to make you feel something, and it's stupid.
And the only thing
like, just go with what we already have. Have him dye his hair ginger or some shit for the next episode. I don't know. Something that like actually has something to do with who Amy is as a person, and not just some random remark that like she has on glasses now.
I mean, even the idea of he's like sitting in Victorian England, just like sitting up there waiting. Like when in the next one or whatever, he's like the Christmas. Is it the Christmas? I don't know how that season works.
Yeah, it's the Christmas special.
He's like sitting above, like he parks the TARDIS like above Ginny and Vastra's house, and he doesn't do anything. They're like he's just been waiting there, or like. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just like sitting there, like in being depressed. Like that is a good enough homage to like Amy.
Yeah, he can do that without
waiting
the glasses.
For something to come to me. I don't need the glasses. Yeah.
I only liked it.
They were cute glasses.
Yeah, it was just like, look at his little Harry Potter glasses.
Yeah, they're cute glasses, but it was like it's very much a gimmick, and it's like you have all of these other things about like their relationship that are strong and have been built up. Right, like you have all these other things, like you don't need like a physical.
But he has the last page that he ripped out and that she wrote.
Sure, and even that was dumb.
True.
Yeah.
Like not the concept of it, like the idea of it is not, but the execution of it was dumb.
The slow motion run across the bridge and
oh my god, and it's still there.
Didn't like, pick that up. How long they
like.
How long
did he take the TARDIS? Otherwise, he took the TARDIS back in time, which you can't do in New York, but he could do it to go get that piece of paper.
Yeah.
Some maintenance worker in Central Park was like, ooh, there's still sandwiches in here. Let me eat one of them to toss the rest of this. I'm just sitting there for hours.
Absolutely.
Right.
Or the wind. Like the wind just blew it away.
Yeah.
Right. It was like a little breeze and it's just fluttering a little bit. I'm like, no, that's not how that works. No. I know it's some pigeons over there or some kind of bird that's like, ooh, it's food. Like, what? But yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that's so frustrating because it's so just like, why? And it's too much going on, but also just like,
yeah, that's what I was about to say, is that if some of it had been taken away and other parts had been given more room to breathe, it might not have played so much like mess, but it is very densely packed. Because like, just the idea that he can't get back, I hate it. But how does River get Amy the manuscript to publish the book,
also
to publish the afterword, or did she write the?
How was that book published? I mean, not granted, I don't know how like publishing worked in the 1930s.
How was it still like? I mean, she published like 3 copies of it.
I mean, it may not have been in print. Like maybe the doctor. Well, no, maybe the doctor found it in 1938 London or some shit. I don't know. It like whatever it is makes very little sense. Right.
He says it showed up in his pocket.
Yeah, so it's the only print of that book.
It must be.
Okay.
But it still doesn't.
Honestly,
how would that happen?
It sounded like a terrible book. It just didn't seem.
It did. It sounded bad, and it only made sense to like you know what I mean? Like it was so right. Like it didn't explain a lot of things. Like
I saw the skinny man before he saw me. What? Skinny man? Not like
hello, Dad.
Right. Like the lanky stranger with the chin or whatever. I don't. Or does he have the nose?
It was literally called the skinny guy.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at the chapters and it was the skinny, and I'm like, this is
River
the 30s.
Is
like
a scientist, okay? She's an archaeologist. She's not great.
It was bad
at the written word, okay?
So how to get published?
She needs an editor. She did it herself. She seduced the man.
But she somehow sent it back to Amy to send
That's the part that I don't.
But then also, how did Amy do that? Because aren't they imprisoned in Winter Key like that? I thought that was the point.
No. They successfully destroyed Winter Key, but the angel just sent them back in time, and they lived their lives. They lived their lives happily in New York, but that's also part of the problem is that they could have just
missed that part, and even then,
right? But like, why didn't they just
message and be like, "Hey, come get us in 1940
in Nebraska"? They could have just traveled. Why did they move?
Hey, New York isn't that bad. Amy's restarted her modeling / kissogram career. And like, come see us sometime. We're gonna be in LA.
Right, like they would have just traveled elsewhere. Like, why would you stay in New York? Oh, apparently they wrote a Melody Malone mystery. Like
they did. One? I purchased it on Audible and then returned it right away because I was like, what is this?
The post app for the episode you've never seen until now. You're like, sure, nope.
Like, I was like, ooh, Melody Pond wrote a book and it's a whatever. Like, the way they... She and Alice Kingston reads it, so... But I was just like, I'm aggressively uninterested.
We have to go see if they have that at the library. That would be funny. Yeah, I was just trying to see if it, like, says, like, we did this. Like, well, clearly she wrote a book. Or like,
do they talk about it at all? Sally Sparrow, or what? Not her friend, not Sally Sparrow, but her friend. Mm-hmm. She kind of stays in the same space too. So maybe there is something about like when the angels send you back, you can't like travel.
Well, like,
or you're stuck there.
Found a man like right after she landed back immediately. So I think she also was like, I'm chilling, you know.
In this small town.
Small town, but she got married like right after that. It's a mess, like. So. Right.
Which
is like imagining Amy, like it's never clear.
Exactly.
It's not clear what year they moved them to. I kind of assume they like went back to 1938 and then just like lived from there. But obviously, it could be any year.
It could be any year, and also the TARDIS could figure it out. If they got moved back farther, then the Doctor could totally go back and get them there. Like
and so that's part of it is that like of like them going back and like just living. And they could just go wherever, and the TARDIS could figure it out. I had a thought, and it's gone.
It's alright. That's the story of Moffat's career. And it's gone. But I'm gonna write the episode anyway.
It's just gone.
I mean, well, okay, so talking about Melody Malone and her how that book got published and all of that was done, but like it was River, so like woohoo, River, and I guess there was supposed to be the joke that like the Doctor is in love with this fictional character / author who happens to be his wife, but then also like their relationship in this one was really like gross to me.
Yeah.
And I don't
and confusing at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I figured it out because of that comment.
One of the few times I didn't buy their being in love. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Connie.
No, I figured it out based on that comment. So I was thinking about, like you were just saying, like, their relationship's really gross, and I was thinking about, like, oh, well, I'm imagining Moffat's like, well, it's the 30s, and so it's very much like, hi, hey, honey, I'm home. And then that leads me to the other thought that I had before of, like, Amy being sent back to 1938. Amy Pond. Mm-hmm. Amy Pond Williams, the kissogram. Yeah. The girl who, like, punches people and sasses people in an era when that is less acceptable is just doesn't quite mesh. Like, it doesn't make sense. And then same thing with River of, like, it's 1938, and we're, you know, these fast-talking detectives.
Ew. And you know why? It's because Moffat wants his women to have that sass thing until they settle down and become housewives.
Yeah. And so Amy's fine with it because she's married to Rory and just, you know, happy in 1940, which is, like, really... Which also, like, the war, and, like, all the other things that...
Also, Rory's a nurse.
Right.
Did he have to go back to medical school and become a doctor?
I mean,
in America, did they have male nurses?
Maybe. I don't know. Great question.
In America.
Great question. I don't know when that, you know...
I mean, they become, like, an army doctor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then it's like, did they have to serve in the war?
That was my biggest thought. I was like, you sent them back when? And then also, like, weren't they like, okay, well, we have
immigration?
Like,
do they have home?
Like, you don't have no papers.
Yikes!
You can't just be living here.
Right.
This is a world war. Go back to like draft dodger. I don't know.
Back to like River and the Doctor's relationship being a little confusing. I think it's also because River is too young. Like,
she's
out of prison.
She's out of prison, which means that she's no longer like she should be more in like Crash of Byzantium River than like Melody Pond River, and she feels a little bit more chaotic, which is like. Well, I mean, honestly, it's one of those things that, like, after Let's Kill Hitler, like, she just becomes she's too, that particular characterization of her just, like, bleeds into the rest of it. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I think Moffat lost the thread on, like, what's going on with her timeline. Because she's already been pardoned. And
she's a professor now, so she's like...
a professor.
Yeah, she's, like, 2 visits.
She's closer to...
the library.
The library than she is.
Yeah. But she's better in this episode than she is in Husbands, when she is literally about to hit the library, and this is the episode that kind of makes me see how wrong they got Husbands in terms of her characterization, because she's slightly too young to me here, but... Especially in, like, how petulant she is, and she's like, why would you do that, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's your regeneration energy, sis. Like, calm down.
First of all.
But, like, he's just giving you back a little bit of all the regenerations you gave him. Sorry, I'm sorry, Bayana. Regenergy.
Regenergy. Thank you. Thanks.
But, it is better than how young, like, she's really too young in Husbands of River Song, because she's older there. She's supposed to be older there than she is here, and she is not. Like, even how Alex Johnson like acts her is off and wrong in that one. But anyway.
And then also the way that, like, and then the whole, like, breaking her hand, like, little thing.
That argument was dumb.
Stupid and gross at the same time. Like, him, like, getting upset about Amy maybe dying or leaving, and then shouting at her to
like,
get out, to break herself free.
No, the tantrum was terrible.
Like,
terrible.
Like, shouting at her when it's not her fault she got caught. Yelling at her to fix it, and then when she
fix it
without breaking her hand, right? And then she, like, putting all of that on her, and then when she does break her hand, getting angry, like, it's all like, and then the fact that she feels like she has to hide from him, that, like, she's hurt is wild.
Well, because I think she says when he's having that weird ass temper tantrum, "Oh God, I know that. You have to calm down." Like, I know what that is. So she's somehow seen him before a major loss.
Sure.
Or a big change.
And I'm not saying...
And so I think that part makes kind of sense, but so I mean the part of her hiding it from him makes sense.
I mean, not that it doesn't make sense in the context of, like, he just screamed at her to do something different than what she did. Like, not that. It just is more like their relationship can't be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the dynamics of that is yikes. Yeah. Versus it just being like it makes sense in the context of what's happening, but yeah. And then her like running out and being like, never let him see the damage was like, ugh. Like, that can't be really the thing when you're
in love with this man and he's supposed to be like your person and you can't let him see who you are.
And when you're hurt.
Yeah,
when you're hurt,
like, very
aging. Never let him see you age. He doesn't like anything.
And even the never let him see you age thing is dumb because y'all are meeting in like different order. So that's stupid. So like, and you're telling this to Amy, which like, okay, whatever. And I know that like the never let him see you age thing is a thing that has come up before this in like in the whole whatever, and it's always been dumb. But in this particular case, her saying that was stupid because it doesn't have. What does aging have to do with breaking your? Anybody at any age can break their hand. Right. Like, that's not a symptom of aging.
And also,
y'all are not meeting in the order.
When she was 10. He has seen her age.
Right. He like, met you when you were a baby.
Right.
And then pop back up like, what's up? What's up, fam? Like,
literally in the same
so it was like,
the same 2
it just
minutes.
felt so out of place. Yeah. And also, it felt so out of place in the context of, like, who was in the conversation, and then it coming right after never let him see the damage just made it feel like, so the doctor is this trash dude, and like, why are any of y'all with him?
Terrible husband.
But Moffat, but the way you can tell the way Moffat wrote it, it's meant to be like this romantic kind of like, you know,
he can't handle your pain, so you have to shield your pain to guard his feelings.
When he doesn't do anything in the same, he does not do anything of the same for her.
No,
right. He's like, he puts all like Amy's, you know, Amy might be leaving. He's putting all that angst onto River, and River has to bear it and show like and act like she's not hurt. Like, that's bullshit.
Yep.
So
I'm so glad the Moffat era is over. Who would have thunk?
My God. Could you imagine if we had to go back next season?
2 more.
No, he did 2 more. But could you imagine if now we had to?
No, I'm saying we have to do. We ourselves have to do 2 more.
Yes. 2 more episodes, sure.
More.
But it's
3.
Yeah, 3 more.
No, 2 more.
8
and 9.
And 10.
Oh, 10.
Oh, 10. Oh, 10.
No, we are.
Okay.
You're right. Yeah. Okay, 3. But yeah, I mean, I'm just imagining if we had to go through a whole new season.
No,
I think we would quit.
I think that was
be.
Well, we'd briefly been like, well, is he coming back?
We may have.
We knew he wasn't coming back because
we knew he wasn't coming back.
In 10, I was like, I would have not. No. No.
After that wouldn't have happened.
We all know which episode I'm talking about. Like, would not have. No, I would have been done with you.
No way. Yeah.
So I was gonna say there are no black women in space in this episode. Until Alex Kingston tells us the truth.
Right.
That is what we will have to go with. And right. I believe it's
because we can't be like problematic and be like River when like wait,
right.
We joke, but like, come on.
We joke, but we're not Rachel Dolezal and River Song.
Right. Especially in this episode when she was, tripping. But anyway, just like in the Wizarding World, black people don't exist in 1930s New York, so...
There's a black dude who was awful.
Right, he's like working for the mobster.
Yeah, through
I don't remember that, do that.
Through the matches at Rory.
I only remember because I was watching on Prime and I paused it and it had the X-ray thing on, and so it had like the black guy's like little avatar up there, like this is who's in this scene, and I was like, oh right, the one black person.
I remember because I was like the one time I looked up and was like, what's actually happening? Because I can't say that I close watched this at all. I pressed play.
We just wanted you to watch. We just had to have you watch it.
Before we started recording, I pressed play, and it was literally touch and go there for a second because I was like, I could just show up. We're so tired. We won't even know. I'm like, yeah. And then that thing happened. Yeah, right. Cool.
Yeah. I was like, is she gonna make it? I don't know. We'll see.
And I have to like actually move some shit after we're done here, but that's fine. That's fine.
Quotes from the TARDIS. Quotes from the TARDIS.
Oh, I always rip out the last page of a book. Then it doesn't have to end. I hate endings.
Which is what Robin did.
It doesn't make sense to me.
But that's what Robin did with this episode.
It's kind of what I did with this episode.
Sure.
Like,
and then I had to run back through Central Park 6-7 years later, and it's still there. 7 years?
It's still there.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's crazy. Like that. I mean, I think that it's stupid in the context of a book, honestly. Because...
Also, just, like, don't read the last page. So he ripped out the last page, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, that too. Like, first of all, vandalism. Second of all, it's ending anyway. It's not like it's not... Like, go read some fanfic, and it doesn't have to end. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like... Not that there's fanfic of this book, because, again, like... You know,
5 people read this book.
Yeah. But, and also, he ripped out the afterwards. So he didn't even rip out the end of the actual plot. So, like...
And then I forgot to mention this. I was so upset. But, they're like, oh, if you read it, it happens. There are no spoilers. Well, how do we find out what happens without spoilers? Let's look at the table of contents. The table of contents absolutely had a spoiler in it that said that Amelia's last farewell was going to happen. And I was like, well, see, this is what happened when I tried to be like, ooh, what's happening in Half-Blood Prince? And then got caught up because it said the Phoenix Lament. And I was like, well, what's that about? It's like basically
what's the
spoiling
Phoenix
yourself.
Lamenting? Exactly.
I wonder what it was. Oh my goodness. And I was just like, but that is literally a spoiler. Like, you can absolutely put spoilers in the chapter titles. It's not how books work.
Yeah.
Do any of you read?
He doesn't.
Okay.
This city's full of time distortions. It'd be impossible to land the TARDIS here. Like trying to land a plane in a blizzard. Even I couldn't do it.
Which is bullshit.
It is.
Any sense. And you know what?
Okay.
Captain Sullivan.
And it would be, like, amazingly, like, a good premise to have, like, a place in time and space where the TARDIS can't go, or where the TARDIS is useless. Like, they crash land there or something like that, and then they can't get off, and they have to figure it out. Like, that would be really cool.
Right.
New York is not that place.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
Especially because then what did I have to suffer through Andrew Garfield's accent for? Like, that happened already.
Okay, I'm gonna skip to the bottom one and then skip one because we did that already, and then skip to the bottom because it's before the other. Okay. You think you'll just come back to life? When don't I?
Which is baller and valid.
Too true.
Yeah, it's not wrong.
It's just literally not
wrong. Like, okay, all right, Rory.
You're right, because that's what happens. He jumps off the building, and he didn't die. He came back to life. And then he, like, got sent back, and then he was alive.
He still died of old age, so, yeah, Rory's a G. Raggedy Man, goodbye.
Okay,
And my love of the ponds and everything, and I was like, bye!
But we didn't actually talk about the end of the episode. Now explain to me how we went through this whole thing. This whole episode is about don't find out what happens to yourself if you read it. It becomes permanent. But the Doctor, who is a time traveler, can just show up to 11-year-old Amy Pond.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's
dumb.
like, tell her everything. Tell her all of my adventures. First of all, he's not supposed to be able to go back to see her because the whole difference.
Wait, did he go back? I thought they just showed her sitting there.
But the TARDIS noise was happening, so it was just like it is showing up. And so again, yes, it's unclear if he actually shows up, but she looks up smiling like she hears the TARDIS like we do, and I'm like, but that can't happen. Why would you even allude to that? Like there should have been a different way for them to allude to him, like helping young Amelia Pond, which could be Amelia, but also could have just been like young Amy or something. But I was like, wait, is he going to see her? This is not, because, yeah. And I know that, like, whatever happened at the end of season 5, I guess, probably at this point never happened, where he, like, carries her back to her room, while she's, like, she fell asleep outside, like, whatever happens at the end of the 5th season.
I mean, I guess you could think about it, like, that's when he tells her the story.
I guess.
I don't know. I don't know.
And then I guess they're trying to bring it back to the moment where he like, we're all stories in the end, like that episode and that, like, epic line or whatever. And it's like she's.
But he wouldn't, though, because the whole point was that she was asleep when he did that.
Right, I know.
And it was so that she would remember him to bring him back. So why would he go back again to do it?
Right. And it's like, if they had just not had the TARDIS noise in there, because that heavily implies that the TARDIS landed and he's just like, hey, what's up? You're going to forget this in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So stupid. Also, like, when River goes to ask about, like, I can get Amy to publish it because Amy's a publisher now. I was thinking, like, hey, you know what? Instead, don't write it. Don't write it.
Right.
Keep it to yourself.
Just not do that. And then we just never deal with the fact that it's her parent. Like, can she go see them? She doesn't use the TARDIS. The TARDIS can't land, but a vortex manipulator absolutely can, clearly. So, like, she just showed up and sees her. She's fine. That's why she's not as sad as he is. She's sad because he's sad.
Right.
But she's like, we gonna have brunch next weekend.
Right, like, we've already decided.
We good.
I spent Christmases there. What do you mean? We're good.
Also, she also doesn't care about them as much as she should. So there's that too.
I mean, the mom and the dad thing, the way that she throws that around, I'm like, wow. It sounds like an insult.
There's also, this moment. There's a moment where they're going to save Rory, and Amy and the Doctor are running full sprint, and River's nowhere in the frame. And I'm like, she's just strolling. She don't give a fuck.
She got them high heels on. She's like, listen, these are new. I'm still breaking them in.
I'll meet y'all there.
Ends up in the elevator with them, which means that they ran to the elevator and had to wait for her to saunter her ass into the hotel, to the Winter Key, before they could go up and find Rory. Like,
wow.
She does not care.
Precious seconds.
Coldemort. She's like, I'm gonna see him later.
Right.
It's fine. Like,
not tripping.
He got it. I'll see him next week.
We got brunch plans. It's cool.
I can't. I can't. Anyway, we are Black Girls Create. Check us out at blackgirlscreate.org, where we are celebrating Black Companion Future Month. This will be going out sort of in the middle of the month, so hopefully you've been playing along with our prompts and sending us fanfic of the Black characters in Doctor Who, or, talking about your experience as a Black fan of Doctor Who. There'll be stuff for the rest of the month. You can get our Time and Relative Blackness in Space t-shirt over at DFTBA. If you get it right now, you get 25% off a BGC pin if you use the code TARBIS25, which you should do, and rock that blue shirt and a BGC pin. The holidays are coming up. You want to get it for yourself, give them out.
Right. Here. Great gift giving. You can follow us on Twitter at We Black and Nerds. You can follow Bayana at Yana_Hallows. I'm at Robin with a Y _Ravenclaw, and Connie, multimedia superstar, is at Constar24. And use the hashtag TARBIS. Give us your thoughts and feelings on this episode, on season 7 as a whole. I am accepting your apologies and condolences. Condolences.
I'll say don't say condolence, please.
Condoli.
No.
For making me watch this. And also join our Slack, where we have a channel dedicated to conversations about Doctor Who. Currently, you can hear me in that, or here, whatever. I'm in that
Guys,
Slack
we're
talking about.
tired.
I hate this. I hate it.
We're very tired.
And rate and review us on iTunes, and where your podcasts are found.
Tarbis is a part of Hard Knock Media. We've joined the Nerds of Color podcast network, including the podcast Hard Knock Life, Southern Fried Asian, DCTV Classics, Ask Bye Girls, Daisy Geek Girls, We're Not All Ninjas, and That Moment. You can check out all of these podcasts at hardnocmedia.com. Also, become a patron of Black Girls Create. We have updated our perks. One of our tiers will have us, the three of us, watching and talking about Classic Who episodes. So if you are to leave that tier is $25 a month, we will discuss Classic Who, which, you know, Connie's making a face, but she'll do it. She'll do it for some coins. And yeah, so that'll be interesting because we have less context around that. And like, I've seen maybe 3 full like series. I don't know how many Robin's seen, but
I've seen about that many as well.
About the same, yeah. So that'll be cool. And then we also have like a bunch of other stuff too. I think if you do like $50 a month, then Connie will write you a drabble. A drabble in the Doctor Who universe. So check that out at patreon.com/blackgirlscreate. And you can see all of the perks that we offer. And yeah, see if you want to, you know, support your girls in growing and in continuing to do fandom and creator stuff. So yeah, thanks for listening. Be sure to stay tuned for the Twitter poll to vote in which episodes we'll discuss. So Robin, are you ready to talk about your episode?
No, because I'm rereading the Wikipedia about what this episode is about. So give me just a second.
No, wait, me too.
Cheater! No.
I just gotta read the Wikipedia so I know what I'm arguing.
Cheating. Okay.
How is that cheating?
Well, then I'm gonna argue for mine, and that's why I should win because they don't even know what they're talking about. They don't even know what they're talking about. So why would you vote for them when they don't even know what the episode is that they want to vote for?
I know what my episode is.
I know what my episode is. I'm just trying to because I didn't form a real argument.
You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. None of us prepare beforehand.
Off the top of the dome?
No.
All right. Well, then let's go. Let's do this thing.
All right. Oh my gosh. Robin, she wants y'all to vote for the caretaker, which I mean, I guess. So you ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Go.
All right, vote for the caretaker. So it's set in the school. Danny Peak is there. He cute and he black. There's a black student in there. And the doctor is supposed to be like the janitor or something, and the black student is all up in his business, and she's cute. She has a name, and she's cute, and she's young. And then Clara is a teacher, and shenanigans happen at school, and there's a black girl. It's cute.
Wow. So, okay. Well, that was 30 seconds. I mean, I guess that was within the time, at least.
And that's all I remember.
And she's cute. Wow.
I just remember a little girl being really cute and sassy. That's all I remember.
Okay. Yikes. All right.
Oh man.
Somebody gonna time me.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
And
all right, so team Bayana is no, I'm just saying what it is. Okay. Is Team Bayana is Flatline.
Oh man, that was scary.
And
That's a good one.
go.
So first of all, Flatline is one of the best episodes of season 8, period, point blank. We get Riggsy, so okay, we want to talk about Black companions and people who are actually around other than just like for 2 seconds and who don't suck and don't try to get you to not time travel. We should talk about him. Also, the TARDIS is like doing all this weird dimension shit where like it's super small and then it's super big and then the doctor's like doing a little like hermit crab thing with his fingers when he's trying to walk across the something. And it looks really weird and it's
That's
awesome.
it.
And
That's it.
oh really?
Yeah.
Well, I said what I wanted to say. So
Why did I think Flatline was a complete? I thought Flatline was scary.
it is a little bit.
Yeah, but as you were doing that, I was like, I remember that. I remember Riggsy, and I remember loving. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Team Connie with Time Heist. Ready, set, go.
Do I really need to say more than Time Heist? Like, come on. It's 2019. It's the year of the Time Heist. We had Endgame. Let's just bring it back and talk about the Time Heist on Doctor Who. There is a Black person in this episode, from what I remember. And, you know, who doesn't love a heist? Like, I love a heist, you guys. It's so good. And it's a time heist. There's, like, beasts and, like, emotional connections and, you know, all that stuff. It's great. Time heist.
That's it. Nope. Ooh-wee. Well, on the plus side, we chose good episodes of season 8. Honestly, though, like, season 8 episode, like, most of them are not bad. There are a couple, but I can remember enjoying a lot of those episodes individually and not so much as a whole. I think episodes 2 and 3 were yikes, and then it wasn't anymore. It was just like meh, and then these are cool. Anyway, The Caretaker, Flatline, Time Heist, Choose Your Fighter. And we'll talk to y'all next month about one of those 3 episodes.
Hashtag Black Companion Future Month. Hashtag BCFM. Hashtag Tarbis. Be out here.
Instagram's like too many hashtags. Sorry. All right.
And
see y'all.
Bye, y'all.
The Black girls have the box.